One of the most important yet most embarrassing experiences of my life was when I was 19. That day, I was sent to, we were going to pour some concrete. I used to live in Phoenix, and we were going to go up to a town that's up in the mountains, and we were going to go pour concrete there. And it was me and another uh, concrete finisher that we were riding together. And back then, I had a truck. It was a 1988 Chevrolet truck, which had headers and ran really fast, and then everything was altered in it. So it was a truck that really ran, and it was a great truck, and I loved it. And then, of course, I was driving up the hill. I was going up the hills. I was driving like a maniac. I was 19, top of the world. I thought I was the best driver in the world, and I was driving like crazy, and made it in no time. And I was flying by, and you doing what a 19-year-old might do with a truck like that. You shouldn't do, but will do. So I did it, and we got to the hill, or to the town where we were gonna pour concrete. And the other guy, he was a guy that was about my age right now, so he was already older, much more experienced than the 19-year-old kid that I was. And the whole time driving up there, he was just holding on to the uh, to the truck, just to the handle the whole time. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And I kept on driving, and I was going crazy, and I loved it. And when we got there, I asked him. His name's Ruben. Were you scared, Ruben? And I had a grin on my face, thinking I had done such an amazing time driving up there in no time, and I thought I had impressed him with my driving skills up that mountain. And when we got there, I asked him, "Were you scared?" And he told me, "Yeah, I was scared." He said, Do you want to know why I was scared?" And tell me. He said, "Because my life was in the hands of an idiot. Because the way you were driving, I have no other way of explaining it. My hands, my life were in the hands of an idiot." Of course I was scared, he told me. Of course I was scared. Because the way you're driving, I have no other way of saying. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And that really, all day long, I remember I didn't even want to see him. I was mad. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of what I had done, the stupidity of my driving. And during the day, I tried talking to him, and he told me, with that driving, you could have left a family without a father, uh, uh, a mom without a son, a wife without a husband. He told me, because the way you were driving, you were an idiot. I didn't have any words. And on the way back, of course, I drove like an older lady. I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I kept on apologizing, but it was too late. He had already told me what he had. But that's one of the most important lessons in my life. This video, I want to talk about things in my life, lessons that I've learned over time, over the years, that have made a big impact in my life. I'm by no means a guru or somebody that knows it all. I just want to share experiences like this one that have changed my life or structured my life to where I see things different than maybe some other people, or at least I know how to explain what I've understood, and I want to share with you guys. So that's the first one. I'm gonna have six, and then at the end I'm gonna have a bonus one. It's really important that the last one is really the one that really, really changed my life the most. But it's not my inspiration. I read it in a book, but I do want to share it with you guys, and I think that's the most important one of all. So the first one is relating to that first story, is be conscious of what other people think of you. And most of our lives, we go on thinking it. I don't care what others think about me. It doesn't matter what others think of me. But it does matter. It should matter. If somebody thinks you're an idiot and they're riding with you, it should matter what they think of you. And if you're a coworker, it should matter what they think of you, because it does matter. It does make a difference. You do affect other people's life. So be conscious of seeing what you're doing. Many times we always think we're the hero in the story, because in our story we're always a hero. But in somebody's story, sometimes we are the villain. And we have to understand it. It's not that we want to, but sometimes we just end up being the villain in somebody else's story. Just because we think we're right, or we're not paying attention consciously of how we're affecting people around us. So that's my first tip. That's really important. I've always practiced that. Try to be conscious of what people see in me, or the way I affect other people's lives. That's one. And I've got them written down here because I was going to forget them. Another one, and this is number two, And to me, this is really important. I didn't learn this till later in life. And I'm 46, so I'm not that young and I'm not that old. So it's really difficult for me to be giving advice because I know, according to my analytics, a lot of older people watch my videos, but it doesn't matter because some young people watch it too. But this advice could help anybody else. And my advice is don't argue with your truth. And what I'm saying with that is right now I'm sitting in a Jeep and recording a video, and that's a fact. Nobody's gonna argue that fact. But things that are not facts, that are truths or opinions, I'll say it, are things that are not really a fact, like whatever your politics, whatever you believe, if you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever country you live in, your truth is just your opinion. Honestly, it's not a fact. In your mind, it's a fact, but really, it's not a fact. I for years, I've been watching people argue over, political parties or Ford versus Chevy versus Dodge or whatever. At the end of the day, they're all they're really just their opinions. They're making them truth. The thing about arguing your opinion is that when somebody proves you wrong, then you lose credibility. So every time I argue, or every time I have an opinion, I say, well, this is the way I see it, or this is what I believe, or I see it this way, I think it's this. I'll never say this is it. Because if it's something worth arguing, then it's always going to be an opinion. Things that you don't argue are just the truth, and those are facts. But there's a difference between facts and truth. Truth is, in my mind, at least in the way I see things, truth is something that can be debated. So I always argue truth with my opinion, because once I get proven wrong, which inevitably I will in life, you will too, everybody will, you're gonna lose credibility, because all that arguing you did, and all the amount of energy you put into that, and then to get proven wrong, well, that just makes you lose a lot of credibility. So, in my opinion, always argue with your opinion, not with your truth, because your truth is honestly just an opinion. So, as long as you can argue like that, you can. If you lose, you're okay. If you get proven wrong, you're okay. Also, in that same category of things, is never argue with an idiot. Never argue with a rock. I've learned over the years, you'll never see me arguing with somebody that's just talking nonsense. I'm not gonna lose my time. I don't have time for it. If somebody's already set in their ways and it's the way it is, and they're gonna raise their voice louder than mine, and that's gonna prove them they're right, their opinion's correct, I have no reason of arguing. I'm not gonna get involved in it. I don't care. It doesn't really matter if that person thinks they're right and I'm wrong, because at the end of the day, it's just two opinions, and his opinion is just louder. And if I ever argue my opinion, is because I already understand it's my opinion and it can get changed. That's why I would argue it, because it can be changed. But if their opinion is already the truth, that's not going to change. Don't waste your time. There's no point in it. It's just going to make me or you look like a fool arguing with somebody that's their opinion is a fact. There's no changing that. So don't lose your energy or your time on that. Number 3, and this is something that I learned over years, and I'm still learning it, because this is something that, even though you know it, it's sometimes it's hard to actually live it. And this is listen more than you talk. And it's kind of hard to say this because I'm doing videos. Obviously, I'm the one talking and everybody else is listening, and I'm just the one talking. But in general, I try to listen more than I talk. I understand that the minute I'm talking, I'm not learning anymore. The minute I'm teaching, they say teaching is learning, and it is in a sense, but you can learn more from listening to other people. So I try to make it a point in my life to listen more than I talk. I do talk a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing YouTube videos. But I do listen more. If I do a video that's 10, 15 minutes long, I'll guarantee you I listen to hours and hours and hours of either books or other YouTubers or something like that. So I try to listen much more than I talk. And when I meet somebody, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, it's always better to listen, because when you're listening, you're learning. They may not be right all the time, but you're still learning something. So listening is really, really important. To me, it's way more important than talking. Somebody asked me one day, he said, give me some advice that's gonna help my life, he said. And this person's really stubborn. I know him real good. He's real stubborn. He's had a hard time in life. He's tried many things, and unfortunately, he hasn't been very successful at any. And he asked me, give me some advice that's gonna change my life. And I told him, listen more than you talk. And right away he started, no, but see, you don't understand this and that. That's it. That was it. You missed it. There's no going back. That was it. He didn't catch it because he thought I was already arguing. He asked for advice. I wasn't offering it. He asked for it. And I gave him that advice. It just flew right by him. He started arguing that. So there was no point in continuing that conversation. But he's never going to listen more than he talks. And he's one of those people that'll argue louder. So in his mind, he's right because he's louder. I don't argue with somebody like that. There's no point. So that's number 3. Number 4 is live below your means. And this is a really difficult one for a lot of us in different senses. I personally understand that living below my means means that I have more money. I actually have a healthier life because I don't have that amount of stress. I have money left over where I can do things, buy other things that I enjoy that are not as expensive as for example, buying a brand new car or a really nice house. Even though I own homes myself, I live in a mobile home because to me that makes more sense economically. Some people would say, well, why would you pay a space where you could just buy a house and not have to, ever pay for it? Well, because a house I can rent, which I do. I own a few homes, which I rent, and I get to pay the space of the where my trailer's mobile home is at, and still keep some money. So in a sense, I'm getting paid to live where I live. I could live in my house for free, but I'm actually getting paid to live where I live, and I live in a part of town that's closer to my work and all that. So living below your means to me is really important and really healthy, and will keep you very much sane. I've known a lot of people over the years, and you have too, I'm sure, that they always got to have a brand new truck, a brand new car, the latest model iPhone or laptop or whatever. And the thing is that once you're the person with the brand new car, you have to be the person with the brand new car forever to maintain that status, which means you're never going to pay off that car because by the time you're 4 years into it, it's already an old car and your neighbor's already got the new car. So you got to trade that car in to get the new car. And 4 years down the road or 3 years or 5 years, same thing, because your standard of living cannot go down. You're the guy with a new truck, with a new house, the beautiful house, the better house, the better toys, the better motorcycle, whatever. So your standard of living can never go down, which is really just a lie because whatever you have right now, 5 years down the road is going to be old. So you have to trade that in, get the new one. And it's a really tricky thing because you can never lower your standard anymore because now you're living at that level and you have to prove that you can still live at that level, whatever it takes. Even if you don't have any money in pocket, no savings, you're paying credit cards to get your paychecks and all you do is pay bills. That is unhealthy. That is something that I learned a long time ago, is live below my means. I don't have to prove to anybody that I can buy a house. Nobody needs to know. It makes no difference. And I'll go a step further. I have a neighbor. I don't really know her. I just see her because she lives where I live at, around that area. And she drives she's probably 21, 22, 23, somewhere in there. And she drives it's probably a 75, 76, 77 Chevy truck. She's just the coolest person in the world to me. I see her drive by. I don't think she has air conditioner, and we live here in Tucson. It gets really hot. She got her windows rolled down. She got her music, and she's driving that old truck all the time, and that's just cool. I could see somebody in a brand new Lexus, and that's cool, but that's a different kind of cool. That's not the cool. This young lady to me is cool, and I see people that it doesn't take money to be somebody. You could just be somebody important, somebody cool, somebody whatever you want to be without money. Just living below your means, but still being able to, keep your sanity and still be a cool. I guess that's the only word I can use, but be different. It doesn't take money. Anybody can be impressive with a brand new car and a brand new house. And we all know you probably just still owe it. You may not even be able to afford, other stuff just because you got to show your new house and your new car. So living below your means is going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you sane. You're going to avoid a lot of medical issues. I'm 46 years old. In my whole life, I've never been to a dentist or a doctor ever. I have broken some bones, and not even for that have I been to a dentist or a doctor or anything like that. So I think my state of mind has kept me healthy. My body can heal. I can go through things, but I don't live those high levels of stress. And that's why I'll dare to say that living below your means is something healthy, because it has helped me. Number 5. And this is really specific to me because of who I am and my situation in life and whatever you want to call it. And it is make the most of what you are. And this is really interesting to me because, I'm 5'6". I'm really short. I'm stocky. I've never. I wish I was somebody else. I wish I was taller and this and that and the other, and I wish a million things. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because this is what the Creator gave me: this body, this nationality, this accent, whatever you want to call it. This is what the Creator gave me, and this is what I have to master this life with this. Not what I wish I had. I'm not going to say, well, if I was taller, I would have done that. If I was different nationality, I would have done that. Or I would have been an athlete, or I would have been this, or been that, or the other, or I'd have money. Yeah, you do have an advantage if there's certain things in life. For example, if you're a 22-year-old girl that's amazingly beautiful, you will definitely have more advantages than a 48-year-old lady that has medical issues and overweight and not very beautiful, maybe, even though everybody's beautiful, but not in the sense I'm talking. Yeah, you will have an advantage. For sure. You will have that advantage. But still, if you're the other person, you have to make the most and you have to master this life with what the Creator gave you. And I really, really deeply believe that. I've never used me or what I wish I was as an excuse for not making the best of this life that the Creator gave me. I tell my daughters, it's like if you have this guy that shows up with a couple of buckets of tools, a hand saw and a hammer and a few tools, and then this guy pulls up in a brand new truck with 3 or 4 guys on their crew and trailers and all kinds of power tools, and they build this house really fast, and boom, they get out of there. And then this guy that with a couple of tools, with a couple of buckets of tools and hand tools, he builds the same house, and it's also beautiful. And who do I ask my daughters, who do you think did a better job at the end? The guy that had all the tools, the crew, everything, or the guy that still did it, but it took him a little bit longer and he had to put more work into it? I am more impressed by that guy. Even though, it's good to be, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't buy any power tools, don't get me wrong. But that's the way I see life, is make the best of what the Creator gave you without complaining, without saying, oh, I could have done this if I had better knees, if I didn't have a bad back, if I had better vision, if I was taller, if I was a different nationality or anything like that. You can do it. I see people be very successful and very happy. And I'm not even talking about money in this video. This video is not really about money. It's more about sanity and things that have made my life better. I've seen people that have been very, very happy and successful in the sense that they have an amazing family, they're amazing friends and all that, without having the benefits that others have. And I've seen some really, really beautiful people that are out there and they're just miserable. So make the best of what the Creator gave you. I'm not saying that if you're a beautiful person, you can be happy. Of course you can. But you still got to make the best of what the Creator gave you. Now, number 6, Number 6, and this is something that I learned over time also. All these I've learned over time, some younger, some a little bit older. Everybody says, do what you love. And that's a lie. I'll just say it right now. That's a lie. It's not that easy. I got to be a drummer. I got to play in a band that was famous. I got to travel a lot with them as a drummer. That was my job, just being a drummer. I got to sign a whole bunch of autographs. I can't say the name of the band. It's a Mexican band, and they are famous. And I got to be their drummer. And that's like a dream job, right? Anybody that's ever played an instrument, you start dreaming right away of someday traveling and touring and signing autographs and being in different cities, And I got to do it. And I hated it. Even though it's a dream job, I still hated it. Why? Because I was doing what I love, but not loving what I do. Sounds the same, but it's not the same. Now, right now, today, I'm a maintenance supervisor, so I'm a maintenance technician. So some days, I'm unclogging toilets. And if anybody knows me, they know I hate unclogging toilets. I really hate toilets. I hate sewer. I hate it. I love air conditioning work, electrical, anything like that. Roofing. I hate sewers or plumbing or toilets or anything like that. But I'll do it, and I love what I do. I don't like that part of it, but I love helping the person whose toilet is clogged or has an issue. Some people are sick. They clog the toilets for different reasons. Even though I hate unclogging the toilets, I love what I do. No matter what I'm doing, I'm still loving it. Because I found a way, or I found that it's way more important to love what you do than to do what you love, because loving what you do is really just fake. Any job you do, even if it's an airline pilot or a musician or a YouTuber or whatever, it's going to be hard, and you're doing what you love, but eventually you start not loving that because your state of mind was, I'm going to do what I love. Well, it's not that easy. It's everything's work. Everything's hard, and there's nothing really that easy. So once you start to love what you do, life becomes much, much, much easier, because now you're going with the flow, not trying to create your own flow. Now, the bonus one that I want to talk about, and this is not mine. This I read in a book, and I'm going to put a link on the description of this video to that, and that is the second agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that is, don't take anything personal. And man, once I read that in a book, my whole perspective of life changed. We go through lives thinking we take everything personal. If somebody cuts you off, you're driving, somebody cuts you off, and you're thinking, why would you do that to me? How do you think you are to cut me off? Who do you think you are? Why are you cutting me off? Because we take life personal. We think that guy is offending you. No, that guy might be in a hurry, or he might have been, stuck there for 20 minutes, and this is the only gap he had, and he went for it because there was 10 cars behind him, and he had to cut in there, and that was it. You're the one. But we take it personal, and that goes with everything. And I hope you guys somebody takes the time and listens to the second agreement from Don Miguel Ruiz. The whole book, the 4 agreements, is wonderful. To me, the second agreement is the most important. It's the one that really, really changed my life. Once we understand that people are not doing things against us, it's not nothing to do with us. Whatever they're doing, it's about them. But since we're the center of our universe, we're thinking, well, they're doing it to me. Why is this person doing this to me? Once you realize that people just act the way they do, and it has nothing to do with you, even if it's something that's directly affecting you, it may not have anything to do. That person might have had a bad day. You don't know the circumstance. You don't know what's going on. But the minute you take it personal, then you open up and people have control of your emotions. And once you understand this agreement, your emotions belong to only you. Once your emotions are yours, it's really, really much, much easier to live life, because you don't give access to your emotions to anybody, because now you're not taking things personal. Now you take control of your emotions, because whatever anybody does reflects on them, not on you. Well, I hope this video helps somebody. And well, God bless you guys. Today is January 1st, 2023. And I hope everybody has a very, very, very successful 2023.